Yo, yo, yo. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Wife cheated, right? I, 35 male, have been married 7 years to my 33 female wife. No kids. 2 years ago, she started a new career and has been very successful. At the time she started, she mentioned a man that she works with, but said on more than one occasion that he was a jerk and she didn't like to work with him. Since then, she has softened a bit and really doesn't mention him much. I feel like I had no reason for concern. I've always trusted my wife, and although our marriage is not perfect, I felt like we get along pretty well. Fast forward to about a month ago. I started noticing some changes in behavior. She was texting a lot more and never letting her phone leave her side. She seemed to have more things going on at night and on weekends. She became cold towards me and wouldn't reciprocate any affection. And she lied to me several times about strange things. The last lie was when she was packing for a business trip and I noticed she had purchased a new, much more revealing bathing suit than anything I'd ever seen her wear. I asked her about it, and she said she ordered it online, not true, and once she tried it on, decided it wasn't appropriate for a business trip to Florida with her colleagues. So she leaves for the trip and takes the bathing suit. While she was gone, I decided to do a little digging. I'd never in our entire relationship ever gone through my wife's things, but I'd had enough of all the lies. In one of her work bags, I found a drawing someone had done of her, almost like a caricature, but it was done on paper from a hotel. I also found a post-it note with driving directions to her male coworker's house, written in her handwriting. I went through our bank statements and found that many times, when she was supposedly at work, she was out to different restaurants around the city. This was enough for me to investigate further. I'm a private investigator by trade, and ethically, I have no problem invading someone's privacy when confronted with reasonable suspicion of wrongdoing. I placed a GPS tracker in her car, legal in my state since the car is titled in my name. The Sunday after she got back from her trip, she told me she was going to work at a coffee shop and run some errands. Her car never came within 1 mile of a Chipotle, but when she got home, she walked in holding a Chipotle cup and confirmed she had eaten there. Then, on the following Tuesday, she told me she had to go to a company dinner and would be working late until the dinner. The GPS showed her leaving work at 3:20 p.m. and driving to the restaurant where her car remained until 9 p.m. The final straw came on the next Saturday. We were supposed to watch my niece play tennis at 8 a.m. She said she wanted to drive separately so she could leave from the venue and go work at a coffee shop. After the match, she told me she was heading to X coffee shop and added a few details about why she wanted to go to that coffee shop. I said, "Have a good day," and went to my vehicle. Well, on the GPS, I watched as she drove directly to a Comfort Inn motel. I got to the Comfort Inn and waited in an adjacent parking lot until I could confirm she was actually in the building and not sitting in her car. I called her from the lobby and asked how was X coffee shop. She said it was good. Why? The only other thing I said was, "Come down here so we can get this over with." Once she came down, she said these exact words. "It's not what you think. He has to do this because he's been caught with other girls before." I asked what she was talking about, and she said that he always works in hotel rooms. She said that they didn't do anything physical, and that's when I told her to get out of my car. I drove away, and she called 50 times. I finally answered and told her if she tells me even one more lie, I'm hanging up. She said that they did kiss once about 5 months prior, but that it was a mistake and didn't mean anything. She said again that they were just working. I asked how many times she had met him in hotels, and she said about 10 over the last 9 months. I then asked what she did on that Tuesday, and she became defensive. She said she was at work all day until the work dinner. I called her a liar and hung up the phone. She showed up at our house where I was loading up my car with my belongings and my dog. She stood in the driveway, refusing to move until I talked to her. She was in hysterics, crying and apologizing. I moved out that day and have been gone for a month. We have met a few times for her to try to explain things. However, when it becomes my turn to ask questions, she becomes very upset, gets defensive, and says things like answering these questions isn't good for the relationship. She's also lied about several of the details, even when the details seem completely inconsequential. I've called her on the lies, and she accuses me of trapping her by asking questions I already know the answers to. Through all of this, she has remained constant that this was not a romantic relationship. She said that she became really good friends with this man and that he was helping her with her career. She admitted that their conversations would become inappropriate when they would talk about her marital issues. She's admitted to texting him and deleting the texts, saying they weren't romantic, but could be seen as flirting. She said that she has been depressed for a really long time, and he was good at talking her out of those feelings and encouraging her in her work. I know I'm being mind-effed, but there's a part of me that believes her. It may be that I want to believe her because I love her or I'm afraid of the truth. I'm really hung up on finding out the truth, but the reality is, I don't see any way that I can get over the facts that I do know. So why does it matter? Am I losing my mind? Alright, time for a few updates, and then we'll get to some community comments. Update 1. We're a month out from D-Day. I spoke with her last night, and here are the highlights. I asked if she has talked to the man over the last 4 weeks. She said that he doesn't know that I showed up to the hotel on D-Day and called her out. She said that she hasn't talked to him about the situation because this is an issue in our marriage and doesn't involve him. I asked if she has stopped all non-work related communication with him. She said that she is tapering down. Tapering down! I lost it. She said she feels like she has to taper down rather than no contact because he doesn't know that I busted her. Infuriating. She then lied about a completely insignificant detail. I called her on it, and I was 100% confident that she was lying. She denied to the point of yelling and never relented. I left it and chalked it up as one more unresolved issue in this saga. Update 2. After she told me she was tapering off social communication with the other man, I hid a voice recorder in my house and left. Last night, I reviewed the tape and discovered my wife and this other man had spent well over an hour on the phone with each other over the course of at least 2 phone calls. My recorder died in the afternoon. I would assume they talked again in the evening, if not more. I didn't hear too many specifics from the phone call, but I did hear a few damning things. They talked for a while about the current state of affairs in our marriage, something she claimed he knew nothing about. They talked about how to use the secret phone app on their phones so as not to be detected. She called me a dick for showing up late for breakfast that morning. And they talked and laughed about a million other topics. I haven't heard my wife that giddy since we were dating. I confronted her about all of this, and she admitted to some of it, denied other parts of it. I don't really care anymore. Alright, last update, and then we'll get to some comments. For the past 2 weeks, I have gone no contact with my wife. A few days ago, she texted me and asked if we could talk. I told her unless she is willing to confess to everything that I was not willing to talk. She then said she knows I've wiretapped her phone. Didn't do, but let her believe it, and that I already know everything. I told her I need to hear it from her directly. She finally agreed to sit down and tell me everything. She came to my house and confessed that her relationship with the other man was indeed sexual and that it had been going on for the past 6 months. She admitted that she purchased a hotel room one day before our anniversary to be with him. She also confirmed that she had continued talking to him after being caught and he was helping her deal with my questions. She claims that she has now broken it off with the other man for good and wants to work on our marriage. This confession came 6 agonizing weeks after I caught her in the hotel. I believe the only reason she confessed is due to my persistence. However, she said that she was always planning to tell me, but wanted to make sure it wouldn't hurt either one of us too badly. The damage done during those 6 weeks is insurmountable. Alright, time for the comments. Throwaway CVPT starts us off. Why are you wasting your time? You had all the proof. Now you have a confession. You don't have kids and you're young. Why are you wasting your time? Don't let sunk cost fallacy catch you. She cheated for 6 months, probably has been having sex with him 2 to 3 times a week, and took you for a fool. Show that you're not one. DOP responds with, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I've separated myself from her and I'm taking my time to make an unemotional, informed decision that is best for me. Of course, I'm leaning very strongly toward divorce and moving on, but I'm not going to make that decision while pissed off. Lolacat777 has some thoughts. Take your time, but go ahead and file. You need the upper hand, and she can show remorse by agreeing to an easy divorce favorable to you. It takes time, and you need advice from a lawyer now. She needs to see that her manipulating won't work. Don't listen to tears or begging. They are for her and her shame and what she's losing. She did the unthinkable to you, and you shouldn't care for 1 second what she wants. If she wants you back for the right reasons, she will wait as long as it takes, and it should take years of actions on her part before you even consider it seriously. I left after nearly 2 years with a very remorseful cheater who would have done anything to save the relationship. I had to accept that I didn't want or respect him. I didn't want to spend my years after my kids were grown with a person like him, no matter how much he changed. I deserved better, and I had to allow myself to make that decision and let go of the guilt. And now, I wish I had done it sooner. For me, cheating is a deal breaker. I don't even want to be friends with a slimy person who could do that, let alone married to one. I felt like my soul was free after I left him, and life was 100% better now for me, not him. OP's response to that one? Thank you. I really appreciate the advice. I can relate to your situation. I can foresee myself forgiving her at some point, But like you, I ask myself if this is the type of person I really want to spend the rest of my life with. And also, what will I think of myself if I take her back? LilyCat777 rounds us out with a response. The thing that took the longest for me to understand is that just because he is trying doesn't mean it has to be good enough for me. I felt guilty that he was trying and changing, but that didn't make me be in love with him. It's sad for him that he realized what's important too late, but that didn't mean I owed him a life as a martyr for our marriage to work. It gives me an upset stomach to even think back to those times. It's okay to allow her to try and to become a better person while also deciding that she isn't the person for you. She is broken, and it's not your job to fix her or your mess to clean up. She can lean on her own friends and family and get her own mental health support. She lost you as a support when she made the choice to betray you.